This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Hi, good morning all. So let's get started now. So today we are going to work on decision rules. Okay. So here, so we'll be creating the properties called, the interest rate. Okay. So loan rate adjustment, the risk rate adjustment, and base rate. Okay. So while case processing, so we need to calculate the interest rate. Okay. So the interest rate is sum of all these three things. Okay. So rate is equivalent to loan rate adjustment, the risk rate adjustment plus base rate. Okay. So in order to determine the loan rate adjustment, so it is depends on the loan type, terms, and purpose. Okay. Let's say you are taking the a home loan for 10 years, so it will be one interest rate. So if you are taking for 15 years, it will be little more interest rate, right, when it's compared to 10 years terms. Okay. The similarly for each loan type and the purpose and terms, we are determining loan rate adjustment. Okay. And the risk rate adjustment is based on the credit score. So if your credit score is more, risk rate would be less. Okay. If credit score is less, the risk rate would be more. Okay. And the base rate, it will be some fixed value. Okay. So when you have all these three things, loan rate, risk rate, and base rate, and you can calculate the interest rate, right? So we need to create all these properties under work class. Okay. And we can reuse in both home loan and auto loan. Okay. So let's create these properties. So all are decimal properties. Okay. So create a property called the rate. Okay. So risk rate adjustment. Loan rate adjustment and base rate. Okay. So now, so in order to calculate the risk rate adjustment, sorry, first we'll calculate loan rate, then we go for risk rate. Okay. So here, so we have the decision rules called decision table and decision tree. Okay. So we use decision table and decision tree to determine property values, to evaluate the values against the properties. Okay. So let's say if it's the decision table, So we have the different loan types and we need to calculate the interest rate, let's say only based on the loan type. Okay. So in the runtime, so it will take the, it will calculate, it will return the, interest rate based on the loan type. So let's say you will define all the loan types and the corresponding written values in the table format. Okay, let's say if loan type is auto loan, return 10%. If it is home loan, return 9%. If it is a personal loan, return 11%, like this in the runtime. So wherever you invoke the decision table based on the loan type, let's say you executed auto loan, so that time, so the clipboard value, loan type value will be auto loan, and it will return that corresponding value. Okay, so if it is home loan, it will return that corresponding value. Okay, so likewise, so we can define multiple conditions in the table and it will evaluate, the row by row. So if the first condition is satisfied, and it will return the value and it will not evaluate for the steps. Okay, and so the decision tree also, similar to decision table, but here we can put nested if conditions. Okay, so if you want to put one condition inside another condition, so that is not possible, by using the decision table. Okay, so let's say, we need to consider loan type, the loan purpose, as well as loan terms. Okay, if the loan type is home loan, then again we need to consider what kind of purpose it is. Let's say if it is purchase, then again we need to consider terms. Even if it is not, home loan, then so we don't need to consider that corresponding purpose and terms. So these will be like, child conditions. If the loan type is home loan, then only it will come to loan purpose. Okay, so based on the loan purpose, again, so we determine, so we put the condition for loan terms also. Okay, so put heading, determine loan rate adjustment. So we'll be creating, multiple tables and trees, and so we'll, see the differences later. Okay, determine loan rate adjustment. So here, so if the loan type is home loan, again, inside the home loan, so we need to consider loan purpose. Okay, and if the loan purpose is purchase and term is 15 years, so we need to return this value. So in the same loan purpose, it can be a different loan term, right? Let's say 30 years, written this much. So it is a purchase, but not 15 years and 30 years. Let's say it is 20 or 25. So it will go otherwise and it will return some value. Okay. So determine loan rate adjustment by using the decision tree. So these kind of conditions, cannot put in decision table. Okay. Yeah. So decision rules are part of the decision category. Okay, go to the decision table. Sorry, tree, right? So based on the requirement, so you need to choose either table or tree. Okay, so here, so you will understand so why we are choosing decision tree. Okay, so put it in determine, the label name is determine loan rate adjustment. Okay, so this is a decision rule form. Okay, decision tree, the rule form. So now, see, if you double click on here, so it will ask the condition. So here we need to specify condition, and we can put multiple conditions by clicking on add. Okay, ఇక్కడ కూర్చోండి. Right. So now the requirement is, if the loan type is home loan, and so this is for home loan. Okay, and so we need to consider loan purpose as well as loan terms. So the first condition is, okay, so double click on the condition here. So click here to add a condition, and if loan type is home loan. Okay, so where we have loan type property, in which page? The loan details, right? So loan details dot loan type is equivalent to home loan. Okay, so this value should be the same as local list value. So whatever the value is specified, you need to put the same. So let's say you specified home loan with the space, and if you are not giving the space here, it will not work properly. Okay, so you copy the value from there and put here in the quotes. So we are not returning the risk rate, loan rate, not only based on the loan type, right? So again, so we need to consider what kind of purpose it is. Let's say you are taking for 10 years, and it is a purpose is purchase, so it will be a one interest rate. For the same loan term, if the different purpose, it might be different, right? So we need to consider the purpose and the terms. So here, so if you are returning based on only loan type, so you can put the value here. Okay, and so otherwise, let's say if you have multiple conditions, and if none of the conditions satisfy, what value it should return, so that determined by otherwise. So continue. If you are putting other conditions, you need to click on continue. Okay, so now here, so see, this has been added as a child of this, right? If it is home loan, then only it will execute the child step. So now here, so we need to consider loan purpose. If loan purpose is purchase, so what option we need to select? Continue, right? So again, we are determining loan rates, terms. Okay, so loan details dot terms, 15 years. How much? So now, so we need to return it. So now we don't have any further conditions to be specified. So based on the loan terms, so we are returning the value. So how much it is? 0.011. Okay, so now in the same purpose, if it is 30 years, okay, so we need to return 0.015.
So the 15 years will have space, or it is without space?
So that you need to check. So whatever the values is specified in the terms drop down property. So let me check that.
Yeah.
Let's say, go to the loan details, terms. Yeah, so we have space, right? So yeah, we need to put like this. So in order to avoid this, so we can define the properties, and we can select the values from that. So I will tell you later. Okay. So now so put the cursor here and click on add new row. Okay. So here, if loan terms is 30 years, 0.015. Clear? So now in in this loan purpose, if it is not 15 years and 30 years, let's say user selected 25 years. So in that case, what it will return? Yeah. So here add one more row. Otherwise, for all other terms in the purchase purpose, it will return this value. Clear? Let's say 0.025. Okay. Now it is home loan, but it is not purchase. The purpose is not purchase. So yeah, put the cursor here, add one more row. Okay. So this is adjacent to this step, like sibling step, not child step. So if it is purchase, it will come here and it will check the loan terms. If it is not purchase, it will check whether it is refinance. Okay. But either it will be a purchase or refinance. Okay. If loan purpose is refinance, again, so we need to consider terms, right? So continue. Loan details dot terms. 10 years. How much? 0.012. So now add one more row. If it is 30 years, 0.016. Okay. Now, other than this, for all other terms in the refinance, it will return 0.025. So here we need to select otherwise. Okay. Clear? So now, let's say it is a home loan, but it is not purchase and refinance. So put the cursor here. There will be a possibility, right? So put the cursor here. No, 1 second. Yeah. So add one more. And otherwise. Okay. So this otherwise is different. So this otherwise is for loan purpose. Okay. Let's say put 0, but it will never come here because so we will make loan purpose as a mandatory. So user must need to select either purchase or refinance. But so for every condition, so we need to specify otherwise. Like if it is not purchase and refinance, so it will go otherwise and it will return this. Okay. And now this otherwise is for if it is not home loan. Okay. So anyhow, so we'll be determining the values, for auto loan also. If it is not home loan and auto loan, it will return this value. Okay, clear? So if it is home loan, then it will check whether it is a purchase or refinance. If it is a purchase, it will check the loan term. Okay, so if it is not 15 years and 30 years, it will return this value. Okay, so now, so once we create a decision table or tree, so we must need to invoke somewhere. It is not a declarative rule, right? So we can call the decision rules in many places. Let's say we can invoke in the flow by using the decision shape, or so we can also invoke in the declare expression. Okay, and we can invoke one decision tree in another decision tree, and we can invoke decision table in decision tree, etc. Okay, and even we can call in activities data transforms also. Okay, so now, so we have a loan rate adjustment. So what we do is we will create a declare expression on loan rate adjustment, and we will invoke this decision tree. So whenever loan type or loan purpose terms changes, it will calculate automatically. Okay, clear? So now let's specify these properties in the loan details screen, like loan rate, risk rate. We created properties, right? So we need to specify those properties in the loan details section. So take one more layout. So drag these properties. The rate, so which is interest rate and risk rate adjustment, the loan rate, and we have a base rate. Okay, so now, so we determined loan rate adjustment, and similarly we need to determine risk rate adjustment also. Okay, so the next step is create a declare expression on loan rate adjustment and invoke the decision tree. So whatever the properties we specify in the decision tree, those properties will be a input property. So whenever input property value changes, the target property called loan rate adjustment gets updated. Clear? The next step is, so create a declare expression on loan rate adjustment and invoke the decision tree. So where, so how can we create declare expression? Either you can create from decision category or directly go to the target property and create expression. So right click on the loan rate adjustment and define expression. Okay, so page context is not required because it is available in work class only. Okay, so now the loan rate adjustment so is result of decision tree, is result of decision table, and map value is, it is another rule. Okay, so we can call these rules here. So this loan rate adjustment is based on decision tree which we created. So and we can call that decision tree here. Okay, so now where we need to invoke this declare expression?
Already, like get invoked on its own.
Yeah, so we don't need, right? So it is a declarative rules, and this will be executed automatically. So we don't need to invoke anywhere. Okay, even we cannot invoke anywhere the declare expression, right? So now execute the flow So let's say, which one we are executing? Home loan only, right? So let's select the purpose as purchase and we'll select terms 30 years. So what is the expected outcome? 015, right? So purchase and terms 30 years, 0.015. See now, if I change the terms again, this will be changed. So whenever the input, property values. So we specify loan purpose, terms and loan type in the tree. So these will become input properties. Okay. So now I'm going to change from purchase to refinance. Okay. But again, so we didn't determine 20 years, right? So we haven't specified that. Let's say 30 years. Change, right? So if you select, let's say 10 years, it will go. Okay, so other than 10 and 30, it will go otherwise, and it will return the 0.025. So even if I select 20 or 25, it will be same. Okay. So now, so we have loan rate adjustment. So now we need to calculate, okay, the risk rate adjustment. Okay. So this risk rate adjustment is dependent on the credit score property available on borrower details screen. Okay. So whatever the credit score you specify there, so based on that, it will return the risk rate adjustment. Okay. So put it in the determine the risk rate adjustment. Determine or calculate the risk rate adjustment. So see here. So we have a range, right? So if the credit score is in between, 715.1 and 850, it has to return 0.002. Okay. So if it is 701 to 750, return this much. So in the decision table, so we have an option to put the range conditions. Okay. So compared to tree, it will be very easy. And we delegate, these rules to the business users. Okay. So later, if they want to, change the value, let's say, from 10% to 9%, and if they are not able to change in the production environment, and again, so we need to create a new version in the development environment and change the value and move to the testing environment, then production, it will take a lot of time, right? So for these kind of changes, so what we do is we delegate these rules to the business users, and they will be able to modify directly in the production environment. Okay, so we have a separate concept called delegation. So we will work on that after completion of these scenarios. Okay.
So they
Clear?
both can be delegated or
Yeah,
only decision table?
yeah. So till 7.2, so we are able to delegate only table but not tree. So but here they have provided an option for tree also. Okay. So like wherever you see, so you open the rule form, and if you are able to see the delegate option, that means we can delegate this rule to the business user. Okay. So if you are working on 7.2 or 7.2.1 or 2, so you will not see, you cannot delegate decision tree to the business users, which involves little complex when it is compared to decision table. But so in the 7.4, so they provided an option for this also. Okay, if they ask you in the interviews, so like so you'll be telling like you are working on 7.2, right? So it is 7.2, you have to tell that like we cannot delegate decision tree to the business users. Okay, decision trees cannot be delegated, but so in the higher versions we have an option to delegate, so you can tell that. Okay. So what we are doing, yeah. So let's create a decision table. So decision table is also part of decision category. Determine risk rate adjustment. Okay. So this is the decision table rule form. So before you are creating a tree or table, so you need to determine, so you need to know what are the properties are involving here. Okay, so now see, so you can put multiple rows and multiple columns like this, and you can remove the row, can remove the column and rows like this. Okay, so here we need to specify the properties. Let's say if 5 properties are involving, you should have 5 different columns. You need 5 columns. Okay, and this is the written value. Okay, so double click on this. Okay, and you need to specify the property. Okay, so here you will be specifying the properties, and inside the box you will be specifying the condition. Okay, if this property value is this, and so likewise it will return this value. Okay, so now here, in order to determine risk rate adjustment, how many properties are involving? Only one property, that is credit score, right? So we need only one column, and rows based on the conditions. So how many conditions you are specifying? Okay, so now double click on this tab. Okay, so we must need to specify one condition. Let me read. Okay, so what is the property? Credit score. So credit score is part of borrower. Okay, and this is the label. So label can be anything, like so you can just specify credit score. And if you are using the range, so we need to select this. Let's say without the range, like if you are directly putting, if credit score is greater than 800, if it is greater than, you can also specify like this. Okay, like this also you can specify without the range. Okay, in some cases we go for range. So now if you look at conditions, if it is 751 and 850, in between this, so we need to return 0.002. Okay, so now use the range, and if you want to change from greater than or equivalent to less than, okay, here greater than or equivalent or greater than, and here less than and less than or equivalent. Okay, so if the credit score is greater than or equivalent to 751 and less than or equivalent to 850. Okay, clear? So how much? 0.002. So this is the written value. If this condition is satisfied, it will return this value and it will not go further rows to evaluate. Okay, clear? So now 701 and 750. Zero point 003. Next 651 and 700. Next 551 and 650, right? 02. Okay. Zero point 0.02. Next, otherwise 0.025. Yeah, 1 2, right? Yeah. So if it is 0, so it will go otherwise and it will return 0.025. Okay.
So the sequence can be any way.
No, yeah, that's what. See,
Okay.
Okay, once you create a table or tree, you need to, so click on show completeness. The decision table is complete. Why it is coming? 1 second. The table is consistent. Okay, so less than or equivalent to 1. So, but it will go otherwise and it will return this. It's not. So now click on show conflicts. So the decision table is consistent. So inconsistent means, so let's say here first if we specify, but in this case, okay, let's say you are determining is greater than or greater than 800, greater than 700, like that. So first if we specify lower value then higher value, let's say first you specified greater than 700 then greater than 800. So what will happen? So even if you enter 900, the first condition itself will be satisfied. Second condition will become inconsistent, right? In that case, so we cannot, so we need to check that. Okay, so when you click on, show conflicts, so the decision table is consistent. Okay, so if it is inconsistent, so you need to look into the values. So how you specify it. Okay, let me show you that. But see, now again, if it is 1000, let's say if it is 1000, then also it will go otherwise, right? So why we haven't specified those conditions are like, so we will restrict for 850. Let's say if user is trying to enter more than 850 as a credit score, we will display an error message. It should not exceed 850. The maximum credit score would be 850 only. Okay, so that is the reason. So we don't need to put, we don't need to consider if it is greater than 850. Okay, so but like when you click on show completeness, so it is showing greater than 850 condition also, right? But so we will restrict to 850 and it will go otherwise if we enter more than that. Okay, So if you are trying to put 851, even you cannot, you cannot come to the second screen. You cannot submit the first screen until if it violates the validation. Okay.
So
Right.
Satya, the value should be in descending order.
So here we specified the range, right? It can be anything. So now let me show you in some scenarios. Let's say we do not have a range here. Okay. So now if it is greater than 700, grade score is greater than 700. This one greater than 800. See now, this condition has conflicts for property. Okay, let me remove this. Unreachable condition, right? See now, if it is greater than 700, it will written this one. So if we enter 900, then also first condition will be satisfied, right? So it will not come here in that case. So this is unreachable condition. Similarly here, so you need to put in descending order. We are putting the condition in this way. So it is displaying some warning, right? So you need to check that. So once you create, you need to click on conflict, and if it is not consistent, then you need to check the values how you specified. Okay.
Okay.
So now, yeah, so we have a decision table, and so what we need to do? So this is for risk rate adjustment, right? So again, so create a declare expression on risk rate adjustment and invoke this decision table. Okay.
One question, Satya. If it is more than one column, more than one property, the relation would be and or.
Yeah. So it will be and only by default. Okay. So if you put one more property, and if this condition is satisfied and other property condition is also satisfied, then only it will return this value. So it is and. Okay. And so we have, let me check here. So by default it is and. This is for or. Let's say inside this property, either this condition or this condition is satisfied, it will return the value. So this is for or, and this is for or. By default, anyhow, so you will have a and condition. Okay, if you want to put multiple properties and to evaluate, so you need to put one after one. So this is for or. Let's say you specified one property, and let's say the property value is this or this, like this, it will return the value. This is or condition. If any one of the values satisfied, it will return the value. Okay. So now let's create a target. Let's create a declare expression on target property called the risk rate adjustment. Okay. So go to the risk rate. Create expression. So this is the result of decision table. That's it. So whenever the credit score changes, it will return, so it will return the corresponding value. Okay. But so credit score in one screen and the return value we are displaying in the different screen, right? So we can handle in the different way also. Means like, so we can use the decision shape or we can use the activity, etc. So, for loan rate adjustment, the terms, loan purpose, all, properties on the same screen. So whenever you change the value, it has to recalculate. So you can achieve by using other rules also, but so that is not best practice. So if you are able to do by using these rules, so you should not go for activity or data transform. Okay. So every time when you change the value, it will execute. Okay. So now let's test this scenario. Yeah. So let's put credit score 700. What should be the return value? 0.004, right? Okay. Right. So we have a loan rate, we have a risk rate, and we'll be specifying some base rate value. So it will be the fixed value. Okay. So whenever you execute a flow, and so we should be able to see the default value here. So where we can put that default value?
Data transform.
Yes, data transform, right? So in which data transform we need to specify? So we have the data transform, means PY default in work class, home loan, auto loan. Okay. So it is required for both home loan and auto loan. Okay. So let's say if we are putting the different base rate for auto loan and home loan, for example, so you can specify in the corresponding PY default. So you go to the home loan PY default and change the value. Okay. So if you put in work class PY default, then this rate will be applicable for both. Okay. Let's create a data transform with the name PY default. If you create a data transform other than this, then you need to invoke in the pre-processing or post-processing of the flow action. So we don't need, right? So to create another, because we have already the initial data transform which is being executed every time when you execute a flow. So we can specify here itself. So we are defaulting this and we can make this read only, right? Go to the base rate. Read only always. So now, so we have base rate, we have loan rate and risk rate, and we need to calculate the rate. So it is sum of all these three things, right? So what we need to do? So which rule we can create again?
Declare expression.
Declare expression on rate property. Okay, and input values will be, input properties will be like loan rate, risk rate, and base rate. Okay. So now we have base rate, so we have a loan rate and risk rate. Okay, so rate should be sum of all these three, right? So now again create a declare expression on rate property. So set rate is equivalent to the risk rate plus loan rate plus base rate. Not sum of. If it is the page list, you know you need to put sum of. So this is a sum, right? So let's say this value is 111. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. So 3 will be assigned to this rate property. So if we are using the page list, then it should be a sum of. So for auto loan, so we are not determining, right, loan rate. So you can include the conditions for auto loan also in the same decision tree. See now, so whenever a base rate or loan rate or risk rate changes, again the rate gets updated. So now let's change from, see now this is updated, right? Okay, any questions so far? So you can note down this for auto loan in the same decision tree, and you can put these conditions. If the loan type is auto loan, again you select the purpose and terms. So if it is 5 years, written this much, other than 5 years, written. Okay. So in the real-time applications also, you will get the requirement in this way. So not exactly like this in the boxes. Okay. So it can be like, in the description format also. Okay. But so by reading the requirement, you should be able to understand. So what kind of rule you need to go for. Okay. So we create, um, the more decision tables and trees in the applications. So these are very simple, like, so if you are able to understand the requirement, just you are taking the properties and putting the values, right? That's it. And we have other options also to be discussed. We'll discuss in the next class. So we can, in the decision table, so we can evaluate all the rows also. So by default behavior is, if the first condition is satisfied, it will return the value and it will not evaluate other steps, right? But so we can also evaluate all the steps. Okay. And we can call one decision table in another decision table, and we can also put the expressions. So have we worked on expression builder? Think no, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll discuss about that in the next class. Okay. So these are about decision rules. And so many rules will be covered, like, so we'll be working on approval process where, we'll create again decision tables and trees. Okay. So any questions?
Satya, yesterday we have seen declare constraint. In that we have seen that we can display a message whenever the limit is exceeded. Can we
Yes.
display? So can we display that message instead of like on a page instead of on a property?
It is displaying on property itself, right? So but it is displaying on page also, both the places. So we can avoid that. So so where we have some out of the box section which contains the error messages, and we need to remove that. Okay. So
Okay.
we'll check that.
Okay.
So we haven't covered validations, right? So yeah, so as part of the validations, so we'll see that.
And Satya, another thing, in section, is there any limit of having layouts? Like Is there a fixed number, or we can have a number of?
Layouts, we can put n number of layouts.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you
Thank
can
you.
put. So let's say, so the borrower, right? So without entering any data, we are able to go to the second step. So it will not be like that in the in the applications, right? So later, like, so we'll be making, these some of the fields mandatory. And so that, like, without entering the first name, last name, date of birth, these things, you should not be able to move to the next step. Okay, so that will be covered as part of the validation. Okay, and so remind me, so like whenever we select the date of birth, so based on the date of birth, so we need to return the age. So we can do this by using declare expression. So we'll do that, okay, as part of the validations. Okay, right? Yeah, so that's it for today. So if you have any questions, so even regarding the previous classes, we can discuss.
సత్య
Yeah.
రేపు క్లాస్ ఓన్లీ ఇంటర్వ్యూ క్వశ్చన్స్ లేకపోతే జనరల్ టాపిక్?
Yeah, tomorrow Saturday, right? Yeah, so tomorrow, so I'll not be covering new concepts. Okay, so we'll discuss, we'll revise, all the concepts. Okay, so which we covered so far, and also interview questions. So I will take around 1.5 hours tomorrow. So we'll spend, yeah, 45 into 50 minutes to discuss the interview questions, and remaining time for revision. Okay. Yeah.
సత్య సిఎస్ఏ డమ్సే ఉన్నాం.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah. So you better go for 8 versions for certification. Yeah. Okay. So we'll discuss about that.
7.4 లో చేస్తే బాగుంటుంది.
Anyway, so these are getting expired, I guess, by this year. So better to
అంటే
choose 8.
ఈ క్వార్టర్ చేద్దామని.
Okay. Okay. So I will message you. Okay. Bye.
ఓకే.